Hey guys, I am so excited to join you today. I have the wonderful Kathy Editoya. Now, if this is your first time watching any of my videos, my name is Isimemen Jobi, and I'm a business and career growth strategist. And I work primarily with Black women and women of color to help them uncover their purpose, secure and land their dream job, skyrocket their salary, and really ultimately live a fulfilling life. Now, Kathy is one of my incredible clients. She is currently in my Fulfilled program. And today, Kathy is just going to share her heart, share her experience, and share her life. So, Kathy, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk and share more about my experience.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. So, Kathy, tell us, what do you do?
Okay, great. So I am an attorney and a civil rights investigator. I work within an Office of Equity and Inclusion investigating allegations of discrimination pretty much under our policy.
Wow, wow, wow. And how are you enjoying kind of where you are in your career? How are you feeling about it?
Where I'm at currently in my career, I know that for me, I want more out of my career as far as kind of where I'm at now, right? So I think that there are pieces of my career that I enjoy and pieces where I know that like this isn't it fully. And I don't mean like 10 years down the line, I want to change, but I need to make a shift as far as kind of the responsibilities I have, the skills I have. And so I like my career, but it's not exactly where I want to be.
I love that. Um, because I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with you, Kathy, just honesty. And I love this conversation because there's not enough honest conversation about where people are in their careers, especially Black women.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll hear things like, well, I want a new job. But I want to hear, what are you feeling? What about where you are? Granted, you're grateful, right? You're thankful that you have income coming in, you have a roof over your head, but you could be grateful and happy, right? And joyful that the money's coming in, but also very honest and real, like, this ain't it. So can you share with us, what are some of the feelings and thoughts that you're feeling right now? And these are the feelings and thoughts that propelled you to even apply and come into Fulfilled.
Yeah, I think that I'm at a place in my career where I feel like not all of my ability is being utilized. I feel like I am in a role where I enjoy the people, but there's more I could be doing.
Yeah.
There's more I could be making. There's just so much like that's within me that I feel like in this role, I almost feel like there's no upward trajectory. It's kind of like I will be stuck where I'm at, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, to your point, you're kind of taught to be like, well, be grateful. You're in a pandemic, you have a job, it's not like you feel like you're being pushed out, but it is that there are a number of things like in my role that I feel like it's almost like I'm in a car, but I'm driving in the wrong direction. And I want to make sure that I'm in a position where I am figuring out. I think a big piece for me was like, I like pieces of what I'm doing. I don't like fully what I'm doing. I want to figure out, like, I know I need to make a move, but it was a lot of, I don't know what move I need to make, but I know there needs to be a shift.
Yeah. And I love the honesty here, Kathy. Like, I love that you talk about, listen, I'm under earning. I just am. I'm
Yeah.
being underutilized. And in that, I'm being undervalued
Yeah.
because you have a level of value that you are ready to impart and share with a company, like a level of impact that you're ready to make. And this company is kind of putting a ceiling on you. Like, you're doing what they need you to be doing, but it doesn't serve you
Yeah,
at all.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's the problem. Talk to us about you coming into Fulfilled. Like, what did you try before you came into Fulfilled, right? Whether it's Googling or this or talking to that person. And then what made you finally join?
So I had tried a few different things, but kind of more passively. It wasn't super intentional, right? So like I have career mentors, of course, that like I've spoken to about like, I think I'm interested in doing this. What do you think is the best move for me? And then like I was on LinkedIn before. So I had reached out to people in the field before, like more when I was in law school saying, hey, you do this, I want to learn more about it. Right. And so I had kind of passively try to piece together like what my career is going to look like and what next steps are going to look like. But I had no blueprint on how to do it effectively. So it felt like I wasn't getting anywhere, if that makes sense. Like, it's not that I never got value from these conversations, is that one, for some of the relationships, I just didn't know how to build up from like that first conversation. And two, from like some of the other conversations, it just felt like this is good value, but I don't really know if it applies to me and what I want to do. And a part of that was not even having a great foundation of exactly where I want to go. Like, as far as like my career, like a big part of it was like, Kathy, you like a lot of things, but like, what do you actually want to do? You're good at a bunch of things. And what do you actually want to do? And then I think also at the time that I was doing some of these different things that I mentioned, my mindset was one where it was like limiting, meaning like I was having a lot of conversations with people, but I was having conversations with people who I felt like they were doing what I was capable of doing. And I felt like I would never reach out to people who work for that big company or for that big law firm because I just felt like I wasn't qualified or whatever. And so I think there are a bunch of things I did, but they weren't as fruitful as I liked it to be. And also like I limited myself in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, yeah. And so thinking about the fact that you were going through the motions and doing things like
Mhm.
many other smart women like yourself are probably doing, you saw that this is still not working
Mhm.
and something has to change.
Yeah.
So you applied to Fulfilled, and anyone who knows about Fulfilled knows that it is hard work. We call you to a place you've never been. You will be uncomfortable. There's an investment, both financially and of your time. Talk to me about what got you to finally say, yes, I'm going to invest in myself at this level and join Fulfilled.
Okay, I'm laughing because ECU now, like I was back and forth. I would like there were just so many like, should I do this thing? Should I make this investment? And I had a lot of like hesitations, honestly. Like part of it was like, hey, fulfilled, even if it's a great program, like am I gonna do the work to get something out of it? Right? Like, am I gonna do the work or am I gonna invest in myself and get something out, but not get the return that I'm like expecting or that I need. And so there was a lot of hesitation back and forth. And I think there were a few things that like ultimately made me take the leap. One is that I had spoken to people who were in the program,
Mm,
people who are extremely honest and will tell you exactly how it is, right? Like, because it's one thing to like talk to someone, and it's another thing to talk to someone who's I'm like, hey, I'm making this investment. It's into myself. It's a commitment in a lot of different ways, a commitment of my time and all these other factors. And I feel like I'm not at the most horrible place in my career, even though I'm not where I want to be, right? Like, it's not like I'm without a job. It's not like I'm without benefit. I'm not in this like horrible place. Is
yeah,
this really worth is it value add for me in my position?
yeah.
And the person was very honest and she was like, absolutely, right? Like, and so like in speaking with her, and her being kind of frank about how it's helped her specifically with kind of her personal career growth, and also having frank conversations with you really, really did help me make this decision, right? Like, so having the conversation where I'm like, well, my hesitation is that I'm not going to get the value that I put in, right? Like, I'm going to get a value, but am I going to get the value add? And I think part of that, I really had to address whatever fears that I had from prior experiences that was limiting me from deciding to make this decision. And what I mean by that is that I think I had been not necessarily in career roles, but I had been in things where I put an investment in, but I didn't feel like it was worth my
Mm,
investment. And
yeah,
I started adding it on to like this program, right? I'm like, well, what if this is another one of those things? And like, I think having to address what's fear and what's wisdom, because I think sometimes wisdom will, like fear will try to mask itself as wisdom, right? Like that whole count the cost thing that people say so much about like evaluating your situation is sometimes an out to do things that make you, to stop you from doing things that make you
that's the
uncomfortable.
word. Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm talking a lot, but I think that
No.
addressing all of those things really helped me take the leap. Being able to talk to someone who can like tell me the unfiltered truth about the value add that it was in her life. Being able to be like, Kathy, do you want to stay where a year from now, be exactly in the same position, career
Yeah,
wise, mindset wise that you were before? Deciding that like fear isn't going to be the thing that holds me back from living my life the way that I want to live it career wise. And I think the thing about fulfilled that made me make the final decision that it's not just about career, it's about your fulfilled life holistically, right?
yeah,
Like that is the big piece. But how does your career fit into the life that you want to live?
that's
And I
it.
think it not just being like it being about, Kathy, what life do you want to live? Not like 10 years from now, but like tomorrow is what made me say, okay, I need to make this investment.
I love that, Kathy. And there were some things you said that were like mind blowing. One, it wasn't you did not wait to hit rock bottom to fix your life.
Mhm.
And that is the mark of a winner. And that is the mark of someone who is going to kill it. You can see there's enough wisdom that this isn't quite right. There's more for me. And I tell
Mhm.
people the women we work with in Fulfilled, they know there's something more for them. They don't know how to get it. They don't know why, but they're not satisfied with the status quo. And
Yeah.
it's more than money because you're going to blow the top off salary. We're going to talk about, the things you're targeting now. You're going to be in these crazy rooms. But the fact that you are now taking the lid off of your potential, it's
Mhm.
like, wait, I can actually fill in the blank.
Mhm.
And that's that power because
Yeah.
God puts us on earth to do incredible things, but so many people are locked away. And the power in fulfilled is the unlockment, whatever, of this is what you're capable of. This
Yeah.
is your gift, your calling, your talent, you're this, you're that. Now go be great. And here's how. And
Yeah.
that's the beauty. So I love that you did not wait to hit rock bottom to say, there's more. For me,
Yeah.
you're an entire attorney. You
Yeah.
can say, this is enough, but you're like, there's more. There was that
Yeah.
hunger. And I love that. And I love that you realize that you don't truly have clarity. And clarity is one of the most valuable things because once you are clear, you can go.
Yeah.
So I love what you said about fear masking as wisdom. When I have conversations with people, I am very honest. Oh, EC, I don't want to join. You actually do want to join, but you're hiding behind. Oh, I need to think. I'm not sure. Let's talk about the real thing. So
Yeah.
when you and I spoke, it was like you're actually really afraid. You
Yeah.
actually don't trust yourself. You actually are projecting old trauma from other programs onto this, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
you come into fulfilled. And one thing I love about you, Kathy, is, and that's why fulfilled is an investment. If fulfilled was like $150, you could stand to lose that. But
Mhm.
fulfilled is thousands, right? Like I can just
Mhm.
say that it's an investment
Mhm.
and it makes you sit up.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
makes you
Definitely.
soak a little bit.
Yeah.
But one
Mhm.
thing you won't do is come in here and let it collect dust like another course. When you do the work.
Yeah.
So, Kathy, you came in and you began to do the work. And I want to hear what started happening for you as far as clarity, as far as your mind, as far as opportunities, conversations. And I know you are very descriptive, so feel free and share with us because I know it's a whole thing.
So I think the thing that happened to me is that like my mindset shifted so much so as it relates to getting clarity on my career. So like it's like 1 month in, you're like, okay, what is it that I'm gonna get? And I think a month in, I was like, man, I need to like repent for all of the doubts I had as it relates to this program. It was like, girl, you was going back and forth for all of this for what, right? And I think for me entering the program, right, like first you just getting clarity on what it is that I want as far as my career, what it is I'm good at, like, right? Like being able to really understand my skills and my strengths really let me be able to understand like how bomb I am,
Yeah.
right? Like as a person, being able to like if I enter into any room, if a company like gets me as their like employee, it's not just something I'm blessed to have, they're lucky, right? Like I'm entering into a room. I am hardworking, I am diligent, I'm going to do this job. And I think and do whatever job I'm given really well. And I think that there were skills and things that I knew I kind of had before, but I took for granted. And I think the program made clear for me, right? Like even when you're thinking through, hey, like in my next role, what salary would I want? It's not through doing the program some more that I realized that like my initial desired next salary was limited based off of whatever mindset I had previously, right? Like entering into this program, I got clarity on like, okay, this is what's for me as far as here are the companies I'd like to work at. Here are the things I'd like to do, but also here's the culture I want to be in when I next enter in a different role. And it helped me to be able to feel one less overwhelmed in whatever next step I'm taking, like career wise, right? So let's say I apply for a job. I know what I'm applying for and what I won't, right? Like I know where it is that I want to do both in role and in company.
Yeah.
I think the second thing for me, it was just kind of like, man, like we talk a lot about mindset and it seems very like, okay, you need to shift your mind. Like, why am I going to pay to like shift my mindset until you do it? And then you're doing like, all right. It's like, it's not, all right. Literally, it's like, okay. Like, I think in multiple ways, both in my current job search and in my current role, I walk into rooms and I do things with a lot more boldness that I don't think I I realized that I'd be able to do because of this program, right? So I got clarity on what it is that I want to do for my next role, what it is I want to see as far as my career path. But more than that, I got clarity on like how I was keeping myself in a box, right? If I'm being really honest, I used to apply for certain jobs thinking like, okay, this feels secure. And what it was is that it felt more safe. It felt more achievable, right? Like I think that's what it was, right? Like so, and you know, not to places that were bad places or bad jobs by any means, but more so, it's just like that seems attainable. But big tech companies don't seem attainable, and that's not my reality, right, anymore. And I think for me, I had to realize that there is no place that's off limits. It's do I want to be in that room? Not can I get there? And I
On.
think that's the biggest thing, like for me. Like there's no kind of company that I can't enter if I don't want to. And so now instead of saying like who's gonna take me, I start thinking of who do I want? And then how do I get there for what I want, which has been a big shift.
You are the prize. That's the thing. You are the prize. And when you
Yeah,
hear, Kathy, and then when you are able to speak, I think one of the most powerful parts of our program, you know, we teach networking, negotiating, we teach all the things, right?
yeah,
Beginning pieces around building that success mindset and the golden triangle is just insane, especially the golden triangle. I actually spent almost 8 months literally perfecting that training.
yeah,
It's proprietary, perfecting it. And when people are done with the golden triangle workbook, they literally like, okay, you cannot tell me anything because you come into such a realization of how gifted you are. And one of
yeah,
my callings is like pulling out the gold in people's lives. Like I can see someone have a conversation and I can tell like all your goodness is buried under all this like crap that you've been
yeah,
through. And so I'll lift it and then you get it and you're like, okay, I'm great.
yeah,
Golden triangle is like my brain on paper. And it's the pulling out. It's the pulling of your giftings, your skills, your experience. What makes you great?
yeah,
Be able to speak to it.
yeah,
I feel like that was such an epiphany for you because you've always been a boss.
yeah.
You didn't quite have a revelation of just how amazing you were.
That's it. Like it's one of those things that, okay, I know I'm a leader and I know I'm these things. I can't articulate why. And I think what happens is there are a lot of people that are walking around with giftings that we normalize so much that you don't realize make you like such a bomb leader or person
Yeah.
or whatever. And even when you're talking about the golden triangle, it's more than just learning, oh man, I now know that I'm really good at giving advice. Like it's like, no, like here are all these values that I add and here's how it applies to the things that I want to do. And I think the golden triangle, it took me a while to get through, but it was one of the most important things to understand foundationally for all the rest to kind of fall into place, honestly, right? Like really, really understanding who I am, what are both my strengths and weaknesses, like all these things help me to be able to articulate why you'd be lucky to have me, right? Like in any room. And I think that is that piece. And I'll like really learning those things was like a turning point for me, and not just like knowing, sure, I'm good at these things, but also being able to articulate it to someone else. Because I know I'm bomb. I just need you to know what I know. And
That's
so now I have language to make you know what I know, right?
good. Yes. Oh my gosh. So, Kathy, I know you've been optimizing your LinkedIn, connecting with people like crazy, just doing a
Mm.
lot and making a lot of power moves. I would love to know what has been your favorite win thus far, just being in the program, like the number one, whether it's the number one, like aha breakthrough moment, the shift in your salary as far as like what you're targeting, who you've spoken to. Like, I want to know your number one.
Um, okay, so I think mindset wise, I have like a mindset wise one and like just a practical one, right?
Yeah.
So mindset wise, I think there was a moment where I had reached out to people on LinkedIn, like big tech companies that had reached out to on LinkedIn that like I'm like, I don't know if this would work, but okay, we're gonna see. And getting their response and being able to be interviewed for certain roles that I never thought I'd be able to be interviewed for otherwise. I think for me, it was just I was speaking to someone in one of those meetings, and they were like, you'd actually be like a perfect fit. You have all this experience in XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. And I was like, oh, like, I know you're seeing the value that I already know that I have. And it was a big mindset shift in that it just became it's not that I can't do this. I just need to get in front of someone that knows, like I just need to like get in front of the person that knows what I know. Right. Like, and that's just a matter of understanding how to position myself. And I think like just practically the things like really major moments for me, like I mentioned before, it's just these really big companies that are like dream companies, whether it be something like Facebook or otherwise, and like literally meeting with like managers who are just all of a sudden it's like, I'm not just submitting my application into the ether and whatever will happen will happen. It's like, no, I'm getting interviewed, right? Like at these companies that like, you know, you probably applied to before that you're just like a million other people, you know, like on LinkedIn, it'll be like 200 other people apply for this position and you're just like, God, do what you do. Like you just submit and you're like, whatever happens, happens. No, like I'm meeting with people and they're telling their recruiters, you need to speak with this person, right? Like, and the recruiters are like, it was one interview where the recruiter was like, okay, this is just formality. Like, I know you already spoke to this person and they really liked you. So I'm just going to tell you more about the position. And this is what the rest of the process is going to look like as far as like the interview process. And I'm just kind of like, you're doing formality with me. You're just doing, this is formality with me. Like, this is a major company that you're just like, oh, this person loves you. So we're going to move you forward. And it's just kind of like, look,
networking,
that is it. Major moment for me.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. And it's so funny. I didn't even know you were doing all these interviews. Like you just
quickly, they're happening quickly. Like, like it's like 1 minute. I'm like, hey, I just applied for this position. I think that'd be a great, I'm using the template, honestly, the templates that you provide. And then I'm kind of curtailing them to me. And the next thing you know, they're like, I'm going to put you in the position in contact with the person I need you to be in contact with. Or they're like, I'll meet with you first and then this. But it's been a great experience.
Amazing. And can you even talk to me about like the type of salary you're targeting now, based on your salary now? Like, where are we going from here?
So before when I started, I was doing this whole, okay, I'd be happy if I was making like $25,000 more than what I'm making now. And then I was like, girl, you playing yourself. Like now I went from like thinking that to now wanting at a minimum double my salary. I recently turned down a position.
Okay,
I recently turned down a position that's higher than my current salary right now. And I think that prior to this program, I would have taken it simply for the fact that it is higher, right? Like it's higher and it's doing something that I'm very interested in doing. But I understood based off of one, the way they decided to negotiate the salary, and two, based off of like just the salary, that like, while it's a great position, they don't understand the value that I bring and it's not for me, right? And I think if this was prior, I would have taken whatever like increase and been like, all right, cool. You know, even if it's not what I want, I'd make this work. And it's just kind of like, thank you, but no, like something else will come. Like you wanting me is not, okay. The way I liken sometimes a career is sometimes how like you can think about relationships where it's just like, oh, sometimes people can feel like, oh, because they want me, I need to want them, right? Like, no, like just you want me, you should. And I have other, like whether or not it's in my lap right now, another opportunity will come that their want for me will show the value that I'm asking for, like as far as salary. And so there was a salary I was looking for at one point when I first started, that's different what I'm looking for now. I'm looking for a minimum double in my salary in my next position, and that's like base level. You see?
I love it. And the beauty of it is, Kathy, there is no pride in this.
Yeah.
It's not that you're being prideful. You are still extremely humble, woman of God, love the Lord. That ain't never changed. You just know and have recognized the value and gold in your life. And people have to understand when you go into these companies, you think companies hire you for favors. They hire you because you impact the bottom line. You're saving money, you're creating the money. So if you sit down, you're like, if I come into your program and come into your company, I'm going to flip it upside down. Like that's what I do when I step in the building.
Yeah.
There's a price tag for that.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. And I think the thing about the program, it teaches you. I remember just being even nervous to accept a free training opportunity at my current job, where it's free for me. They're paying a lot of money. And just like, one of the things was like, hey, wow, you're worth 10 times that. Why are you so nervous about asking about a $3,000 training? Like you're worth way more than that price, that price point. And so it's one of those things where you don't, sometimes we think that to be humble is to not know the value you add, or not to be confident. And it's like, pride comes before the fall. I don't have time for pride, right? Like, I don't want to fumble myself when it comes to anything, but I think you like really understanding the power of shifting the value you bring to the company, like you mentioned, even as it relates to the bottom line, right? Like we as people, we as Black women or women of color, we walk into places and we're like, here are the ways to make things better. Like, again and again, how many women do you know in your life that they tell you, man, I entered into this job and this was all out of order and I came up with this, like within the first 3 months of being there, right? It is in our nature to go ahead and like be beast, to be frank. And so it's just like, this is me. I just need people to understand the value that I bring and match that in terms of just the way that they treat me.
And not in congratulations, pay me.
Yeah.
Pay me. You know what I mean? Like, recognize me, promote me, and pay me.
Yeah.
I would love to know, Kathy, what's probably your number one challenge in the program? Because I'm a butt kicker, right? Like, we go in on y'all. And what was like maybe the thing that challenged you the most in Fulfill?
I would say any process that requires you to shift your mindset is requiring you to die to something and pick up something new, and that's painful.
That's good.
Right? And what I mean by that is that for me, with Fulfilled, like, I can come here and confidently be like, this is the value I add, but that doesn't mean that there aren't times where I have to reaffirm that again and again and again, right? And I think entering into, even now that I'm in a job search, I always feel the pain of like, oh man, I'm gonna feel really bad when I leave because my office is really busy right now, and I do X, Y, and Z, and who's gonna do this thing and whatever. And I think one of the difficulties for me with Fulfilled is really still working to understand like what mindsets that I still have that I need to continually uproot. And then also, it's work and it's hard, right? Like, that's just the reality. It's good work. It's worth the work, but it's work, and you be honest, right? Like when it comes to like making sure that we're putting in the effort to reap what it is that you will reap from this program. If you like, it's not a doubt that if you enter this program, you will reap from it if you put in that work, right? And so I think one of the difficult parts about Fulfilled is I'm working full time, and I'm also working like just as hard. It's not full-time hours, but just as hard on this program, and it can be difficult.
I love that. I love that. And I love how you're like, I need something to change, and nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So you have submitted yourself to this process. And one thing I love about you, Kathy, and I always say, if you're going to do well in Fulfilled, you have to be coachable, because we're going to give you the blueprint. What would take you 10 years to kind of finagle and figure out? Some people come to us, they've been working 10 years, making 30, 40K. They have not even figured, they've never heard of anything that we've talked about in this program. You get it in such a truncated time. And there's work to do, but what's on the other side? I'm always like, listen, I want to quantum leap you. If you're okay with where you are, this is not for you. This is for someone who's hungry for a dramatic shift. We will walk you into that.
The things that I'm looking for now in my next role are things that I think I would have probably wanted 10 years into what I'm working now, right? Like, way down the line, that like, it's like, I can reach that, but I need to work for so many years versus really understanding that like, and when I say things, I don't just mean salary, but just like a bunch of different things. And I think
projects,
et cetera, right? And so I think the program really does take a lot, and it's like, it's all here. It's all available for you. Here's things that it's almost like you can either decide that you're gonna strap yourself up and figure it out and grit your teeth and figure it out, or you can say, here's this opportunity to learn so much that what people would learn in a lifetime of a career, I can just learn in an abbreviated time, which is really, I think, valuable.
When you think about how we do things in Fulfilled, I know I have a favorite aspect of Fulfilled. I would love to know, what is your favorite? I know we have like a couple aspects that all work together to help people, right? What's like your favorite piece of it?
Um, I think there are two favorite pieces. One is the tools that make everything just like way more simple, right? I'm someone who's, I don't just like concepts, I like, how do I apply it? And I think Fulfilled literally gives you practical tools of, okay, this is what networking means and this is what it looks like. Here are literally tools on how to do it. Like, let's take the guesswork out of it and give you the tools that you need to do all of those things. Like, I don't know how, like, if you look at my computer right now, that's probably the most referred to like things, like the various tools, whether it be my resume, whether it be, networking templates, like whatever it may look like. Those things are really, really valuable to me. But also the access to ask people who have been in this industry for years and years and years questions is without a doubt like one of the most, it's like it's like having office hours, like a limited office hours all the time for anything that like you're dealing with, right? And so it's like, I think that is an extreme value in that there's never something that I run into that I don't feel like I have access to someone that won't be able to give me a bomb answer to be able to kind of navigate.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Coaching, it completely sets us apart, and I'm super proud of it. I'm proud of our coaches. They're women of color. They care deeply. And I
Yeah.
think that's another thing that sets us apart from Fulfill. People talk to me, they're like, EC, you really care.
Hmm.
Because I'm in purpose, I'm in calling. And there's a way you show up in the workplace when you are in purpose and calling and alignment that begets more opportunities and
Yeah.
begets more bonuses because you're doing what you truly want to be doing. And so
Yeah.
you're showing up in a really crazy way.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think even the way that you go about like getting on us to make sure that we're doing what we need to do with the program is an example of that, right? It's like you care for us to get where it is you like. It's like you have no choice to be passionate. You have to be passionate for yourself if you see that someone's so passionate about you, right?
mm,
Like it's like
yeah,
you passionate about this, and it's not you just being passionate about your program. It's you being passionate about my success. And
yes,
it's like if you're seeing some, me too, I need to see something. Me too, my eyes
that's
need to
it.
see what you're seeing, right? And so I
Yes.
think that piece is really important.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Kathy, thank you. My last question. If
Okay.
there's anyone who is considering joining Fulfilled and
Mhm.
they are scared, or they're looking at the investment and not sure, or they're wondering, can I be successful too? Or does this program actually really work? Like, what are your, I guess, parting words for any woman watching this video right now?
Um, Parting words. I think I would say, I mean, do it. um, and I think the biggest thing is like you are worth all of the investment into yourself, right? Like you hear that quote, like the best investment you make is the investment in yourself. This program is an investment into yourself that you will not find anywhere else. And
Yeah.
so being able to decide or make this decision, right? I don't want to make light of it. It's an important one, right? And it's one that you should think through. But I was telling someone, I was like, everyone needs to do this program. Like everyone needs to do this program. Like despite where you are in your career, because there's a value add. And it's one of those things that the value that you get from this program, once you're going to blow the lid off of anything that you thought you'd be able to do in your career. And once you understand that this program gives you the tools to do that, you will see that it is worth the value times a million. And so you are worth the value times a million, right? Like the program is great, but the program is great because it cares about you and your success and your fulfillment and you living your life the way that you want to live it and you getting clarity on that, right? It doesn't matter if you're 10, 20, 30 years into whatever career field you're into. It's really important to know that you're valuable and to be in spaces and programs that sees that and gives you the tools to work that value. And I think fulfilled is where you need to be. So if you're on the line, come on over, join us. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Just seeing your glow, seeing your joy, hearing you turn down job offers,
Yeah.
it just warms my whole heart. Um, I just can't wait to see what you finally land on.
Yeah.
Can't,
God is, he gonna do something. Let me
of
tell you
course.
something. Excited.
Thank you again, Kathy. I really
Of
appreciate it.
course. Bye.
Bye.